What is up everyone, and welcome back to the Pokemon Dating Simulator. Didn't think I'd be making another video on this game so soon, but literally a couple of days after the first episode came out, the developers released a new update that adds a whole nother week at the Academy with plenty more story and of course plenty more trainers to date. So in case you missed it, I highly recommend checking out the first episode, but if you're already too invested in this video, allow me to give you a quick recap. Oh, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're excited. Last time on Pokemon Academy Life, we began our journey at Kobukan Academy, a prestigious school for Pokemon trainers aiming to take their battling skills to the next level. But that's not exactly what most people playing this game care about, is it? In this alternate universe, almost every single Pokemon character you can think of has been reimagined as a university student, or teacher in some cases, and this has basically turned the world of Pocket Monsters into a fully fledged visual novel type of game, where you can potentially date the trainer of your dreams, and that includes some of the boys too. The gameplay involves going through each day at the Academy and participating in various classes based on the Pokemon types while chatting with some familiar faces and building up your friendship with whatever trainers you like the most. Now last episode you might remember that after many interactions with Leaf, we finally got enough points to go on our first date, only to end up getting friend-zoned. Thankfully, when I booted up this new update, it seems I forgot to save, so we're back at a point before our heartbreak, and you know what they say, plenty more Magikarp in the sea, so hopefully today we don't end up flopping. Forgetting to save meant I had to replay through the last few days of the previous update, but thankfully there's a skip button, which made getting through this again a lot faster. Looking over all the characters though, I realized that there's quite a few new level up scenes in this update, but on top of friendship, we also need social points to go out with certain characters, which means we'll have to wait a little longer for any dates. Frustrated at the fact I didn't get to go out with anyone this time, I decided to channel my alter ego, Mr. Steal Yo Girl, by texting May. You know, our roommate's girlfriend. Can we really just steal Brendan's girl? I mean, that's kind of scummy, but I'm also kind of curious what would happen. How you doing? Oh my god. The next day is when the new content actually begins, and we get our first chance to gain some courage right from the get-go as we're running late to homeroom. Don't mind if I do. Being late has even more perks as we don't have to listen to Professor Oak's ramblings and get right into choosing our first elective. Continuing my trend from the previous video, I decided to keep trying new types and ended up with none other than... Good morning, children! Oh my god, it's Bertha! Finally, we have a female teacher that's not... Next up is gym class, where Professors Bruno and Alder pit us against Rosa from Pokemon Black and White 2. Apparently she's an actress in this universe, which is a pretty cool throwback to Unova's Pokestar Studios. Hopefully her acting skills are a little better than her battling though, because as usual we wipe the floor with our opponent. At lunch, we can now choose to sit and chat with the whole table of trainers or specifically study with just one. And you might remember I was getting pretty close to Sabrina before, so I decided to have a one-on-one study sesh with her, and even more time together in psychic class, which made this first day go by pretty quick. But things would soon get real interesting. Oh my god, bro, he knows! I was thinking we could go out to the fields together this morning, before school begins. He's gonna beat us up, bro. He knows exactly what we're doing. Or so I thought, but it turns out Brendan just wants to go for an early morning jog. Out of nowhere, Brawly shows up, and this happens. Maybe it's just a thing buff guys do? I wouldn't know. Brendan lends us some Pokeballs, and we finally get to catch some more Pokemon for our squad. I tried reloading the game a few times, but my first encounter always ended up being Togedemaru, which I took as a sign that we had to catch this little dude, despite being the third electric type we would have. It seems like you get to keep battling and catching Pokemon as long as you have Pokeballs left or get a full squad of 6, so I just kept going and managed to catch myself a Bunnelby and... Wait, what? There's Paldean Pokemon here too? Bro, I definitely want a Nimble. I could have caught one more Pokemon, but decided to end our little expedition early just in case we ran into something even rarer later on. All of a sudden, an Absol shows up and starts darting towards us at full speed. That's Absol's full speed right there. I love it. Oh my god, okay, now that's... Shit! Triple battle! Or I guess a 3-on-1 against this Absol? Oh my god, it's Frenzy too? What is this, Pokemon Legends? You're probably familiar with Absol's lore, being that its appearance signals a disaster incoming, and this one was apparently warning us about a meteor? Of course, we decide to go investigate the crash site and find a familiar face sitting in the crater. OG Pokemon fans might recognize this girl as Bianca from the Pokemon Heroes movie. You know, the one with Latios and Latias? The girl ponders for a moment, then slowly touches her fingertips in the universal OK gesture. What? Wait, this means OK? Pretty sure they meant this gesture, but my pea-brain quickly moved on to the obvious question here. Is this girl really Bianca? Or perhaps a Latias pretending to be her, like in the movie? Though she's not able to speak, it seems she can hear and understand us, and even knows sign language. Through the magic of pen and paper, we learn her real name is Tia, which is short for Venetia? Very suspicious. Somehow all of these shenanigans unfolded in just the morning, and we still have a whole day of school ahead of us, which, speaking of, apparently Tia's gonna sign up at the school too? I swear they made a big deal about this place being super exclusive and prestigious and expensive. How the frick is this girl able to just slide in? Anyway, I noticed we hadn't hung out with any of the students in the poison type class yet, so let's fix that real quick. It's gotta be Koga, bro. He's gonna poof from behind the desk like a ninja really would. I'm a genius! In this class, we also meet Erica. Well, I guess meet is the wrong word, because we sort of met her during that awkward first encounter, but this is the first time she appears in one of the classes, which means we can eventually date her, and that's what really matters, right? At gym class, we face off against the preppy pink princess Whitney, which starts off easy enough, but I'm sure you're all familiar with the true evil that this gym leader can bring. Oh my god, it's the milk tank! No way, dude! She's got milk drink too! No! Oh, this is gonna be rough, dude. It all comes down to my last Pokemon, which only has quick attack, and this heinous beast set up 6 defense curls, which means we're gonna do no damage. Or so I thought. Just like in the good old Gold and Silver games, Whitney runs off crying. We eventually cheer her up and learn she just so happens to know sign language because she had a deaf-mute ex-girlfriend in Johto, and she wants to make it very clear that she means girlfriend, as in she likes girls. So her and Flannery are a thing then, huh? What the frick, man? I predicted it again! No, she's a project. I won't tell her that. So at lunch, Whitney helps us talk to Tia using an interesting new form of sign language that I hadn't quite seen before, but it works, and we get to learn a bit more about her situation. Turns out Tia is hiding from someone that she can apparently smell nearby. More proof she's actually a Pokemon, but for the next elective, I went with Psychic again, not even realizing a new challenger was approaching, and it's none other than Tia? Again, it's best not to question how she got into the academy, but Sabrina sure seems curious about her. Too bad we don't get to see them interact since, you know, being a mind reader, I feel like Sabrina could answer a lot of our questions and then there'd be no plot. So, moving on. After school, we get to choose who to hang out with, and since Brendan's been kinda annoying me recently, I decided to double down on my bad decisions and hang out with May. But this ends up backfiring because back at the dorm we get intercepted by none other than Brendan. You haven't told anyone about that meteor this morning, have you? Nah, I was gonna tell May later, but the whole thing kinda just freaks me out, so I haven't gotten around to it. Cool, would you mind continuing not to tell anyone? Not even May? I guess May's alright. Couples shouldn't have secrets from each other. Well, I got a secret for you. The next morning, we're awoken by Caleb, who's once again trying to recruit us into the student council. No matter how many times I tell him I want nothing to do with the council, these people keep insisting we should join. But hey, at least we're rewarded with some patience for it. At homeroom, we seem a bit lost since the previous morning we were too late for the lesson, but this gives us a chance to score some wit. I noticed Caleb was the only main character I still had 0 XP with, and decided to check out the flying type class, where the teacher ended up giving me some major deja vu. Yo, what is going on here with the curvature? Guess I was expecting someone a bit more unique in terms of design, but speaking of Skyla, she's in this class too, of course, and has a bit of an awkward moment. I get the feeling this is a reference to something that I just don't know. Next is gym class, and as if by destiny, our date with Nessa seems to come a bit early. Well, not exactly, but in the end we knock him down and look forward to our date. But first we gotta get through the rest of the school day, and at lunch Whitney is in a frenzy because the new girl just won't leave her alone. Though you get to choose whatever table you want, it's interesting to note that sitting with anyone but Whitney or Tia results in them getting pissed. Not that I really care cause they're not exactly my type, but I'm not an asshole either. Well, except for that whole thing with May, but at least with these girls, I guess I felt bad, so I went back and chose to sit and listen to their troubles. What the frick, what is she doing? Why is she bouncing behind? Don't think that was supposed to happen. Not much goes on at the next elective since I chose Dragon, and we'd already been here before, so we quickly move on to the end of day homeroom, where I sense a little bit of jealousy coming from our BFF. I'm crazy curious to know what's up with that new girl who's been following you around. Oh, she jealous? Leaf's not the only one though, as Flannery's also feeling some type of way about Whitney spending all her time with the new girl. Something must be done about this, but not today because it's finally time for our date with Nessa. I've been waiting so long for this, dude. Hey Nessa, ready for our date? Bro, why would you yell it out like that? Well, that's an interesting way of walking. Did I catch you right as you were going for a swim? Nah, but your outfit. Yeah, I just wear this. Respect. As enthusiastic as I was about Nessa's outfit, we don't quite get to see her hop in the pool with it. In fact, this isn't even the real date spot, and you'll never guess where we actually decide to take her. Yeah, I don't know what Red was thinking with this one, but it sort of works out since Nessa's so used to guys taking her out to fancy restaurants that this dirty hole ends up being a welcome change. We spend some time chatting about her upbringing in Galar and friendship with characters like Leon, Raihan, and Sonia, which is absolutely my #1 pick for characters that need to be in a future update. We also learned that while scoring a first date with Nessa is effortless, the second one won't come so easily. Cool, so what are my chances of another date? Well, I liked our conversation. Let's actually do something next time though. Damn, okay. Not just staring into a hole. We did it! We went from date to friend though. I feel like that's a downgrade. That same night we meet up with Skyla, who we'd been trying to track down since the whole Meteor incident. I guess Red's trying to keep the whole Tia situation as hush-hush as possible, but Skyla already told her friend Gardenia. I'm sure the secret won't spread any further though, right? The next morning, our favorite duo are pissed once again because Tia kept them up all night with her new laptop. Who exactly thought it'd be a good idea to give this girl access to the internet? We thank them for their patience, get a little bit of charm, and move on to gym class where we face off against Charon. Again, he still just has a level 5 Purloin, which makes me wonder how leveling up works in this world, cause my Stunfisk is also stuck at level 5. At lunch, I decide to sit with the quiet bunch and have an exhilarating conversation about breakfast drinks. Then we move on to another new elective, the normal type class. Alright, settle down everyone. Lenora? Okay, that was the last person I was expecting, I'm not gonna lie. Not much really happens here, and before we know it, we're thrust into another one of Professor Oak's pop quizzes. Luckily, with the 4 moves we're given and the fact it's badly poisoned, it's pretty easy to figure out what we've gotta do to pass. After class, Leaf is once again trying her best not to show her jealous side, and as salty as I was about what happened before, the past is in the past, and I decide to invite her out to our secret meeting with the Meteor Club. The girls demand answers from Tia, and she actually gives us a little bit of context this time, revealing that she apparently switched places with her sister Bianca? Yeah, I'm not buying this story. And then she flies away. Out of nowhere, we get a 2 versus 2 battle with Whitney standing by as referee, or cheerleader? I don't really know, but the tag team of me and Leaf absolutely blast Gardenia and Flannery, and we get handsomely paid for it. Now with Tia's secret airtight within our group, we can focus back on the more important things in life. like texting of course, and I decide to text Caleb, not remembering that he's literally right next to us. The next day goes by pretty smoothly as we head back to Grandma Bertha's class, and at gym we face Caleb and his little fletchling. Oh man, my stomach feels kind of funny. Am I actually nervous to fight Hilbert later? Wait, when did we say we're gonna fight Hilbert? Was that in the morning? Did I miss something? Turns out I did miss something pretty major actually, since I was too busy yawning. It seems we challenged Hilbert to a battle at the end of the day, which means we gotta get through our last elective, and there's still a few types I had never picked, like Fairy. Considering there's only like 3 Fairy type trainers in all of Pokemon, it's pretty easy to guess who the teacher would be. Dude, I don't know, I feel like those eyes, like, she looks like a demon or something. Our final class ends and we get confronted by May, who asks about our battle with Hilbert. But more importantly, she asks if me and Leaf are dating. The way we talk to Leaf, it sure seems like we would be, but apparently we're still just friends. So, is the game for real this time, or are we gonna get trolled again? Duh! We got trolled again. Cool it, mister. I've known you for like 2 weeks. That's moving way too fast. I don't think you're a jerk or a creep or anything, but I need to, figure some stuff out. My bad. Hypothetically, if we said I'm out, then she asked if we're dating. What? I'm so confused. So she does want to date, but not yet? It's time for our epic showdown against Hilbert. I still don't know what his deal is, but for some reason, Lance really doesn't want us to join the battle team. Maybe he thinks we'll be strong enough to overtake him one day, but if that's the case, then that's some small PP energy if you ask me. We wrap things up by gaining a little bit more courage from flexing on Janine, which puts us just 2 more away from being able to go out with Silver. To end our Friday, we get to pick another date, and we have a couple characters at the right level, but don't quite have the stats. In the end, I decide to further my dangerous game with May, which means next time we should be able to seal the deal. And with all that done, we move on to the weekend. I guess we all agreed to go shopping in the big city together and bring Tia along with us, but the new girl appears to be missing. Wait a minute. Wait, no, don't! Wait, what's happening? What is this music? Orange, what are you doing? Before your body is consciously aware of it, you push past your friends and begin a mad sprint toward the building, hoping somehow that you'll reach the bottom before Tia... No, what? She didn't just... Wait, was that her? Jumping off the roof? Oh my god, that is her. Apparently no one else saw that, though Leaf does grill us more than the others, but as usual with her, it leads to nothing. So we move on to Inspira City, where this whole adventure started, and this time we got a bit more cash to spend, so maybe we can finally hit up that Burger Kingler and get ourselves a delicious Whooper. The girls dump all their bags on us to carry, which looks more like they're piling up on top of each other, and then the whole game collapses. Soon after, Tia bumps into this upstanding looking gentleman. Despite Flannery's best attempts to defuse the situation, we end up having to battle this roughneck in a 2v2 battle with all the girls watching. Even with the added pressure, we quickly tear through his Pokemon and save the day. Except we totally didn't, and the guy proceeds to steal Tia's new hat. What an asshole. We follow the dude into a dark alley, which is absolutely the wrong thing to do. Like, you don't know what's waiting in there? Oh, would you look at that? He's got brothers, and they've got each other's backs in a 3-on-1 battle where they don't even heal our Pokemon back up, but we somehow manage to pull through and beat them yet again with the power of friendship. Bros, this guy's intense. Our courage increased to 4, nice, we just need 1 more. I doubt we're gonna get it before the demo's over, but... Oh wait, what? We got it! Let's go, and another one? Oh, I thought we were gonna get 6 courage, but... Speaking of courage, turns out this house is one of Team Rocket's former hideouts, and since Giovanni's no longer around, Silver took it upon himself to take care of the ex-Rocket members. What is this, like Snow White and the 7 Grunts? We end up striking a deal with Silver that lets us come back to occasionally battle the Rocket triplets for some extra cash, and even manage to get back Tia's hat. Tia happily smiles and skips over to the encroaching horde of Pokemon and punches Grimer in the face. PETA is not going to be happy with this one. We finally make it back to the academy, but it's already nighttime, which means we have just 1 more day left in this update. Hey, serious question time. Yes, I wear a padded bra, and so does everyone else at this school, including the teachers and the male teachers. Well, that explains a lot. Thankfully, Sunday is our free day, meaning we have 3 time slots to hang out with whoever the heck we want, and that means we can finally go on all those dates we've been waiting for. Oh my god, we need 1 experience with Silver? Seriously? This pretty much leaves us with just 1 choice, and it's... So we meet up with May at the school's lab and talk all about her boyfriend.
I don't know what I expected.
Orange, have you ever had a... Hold up, what about a boyfriend? Nope, though I would be open to it. Maybe I should be worried about how much time you're spending around Brennan then. Oh my, you got it all backwards, girl. What? No, I'm not a homewrecker, don't worry. That's a relief. Our relationship has evolved from friend to taster. I'm not sure I know what that even means, but I guess it's better than being in the friend zone? At least we still have Silver. So with our 5 courage points, we head back to the abandoned shelter for lost grunts and face the troubled emo boy. Though he's a tough nut to crack, we eventually get Silver to open up and finally admit that despite how strong he may think he is, all he's ever really wanted is a friend. Please? Is he begging us to be his friend? Like, come on, bro. We're already buddies, but now we made it official as we leveled up to friend. At this point, I guess it should have been expected. Then he proceeds to give us $5,000, which makes me feel a bit dirty. Like, is Silver our pimp now, or what's going on here? But before we end things off, there's one more Poke Girl I've been dying to get a little closer with since we started this playthrough. Sabrina, we need to talk. I mean, technically we don't, cause, you know, she can like read minds. Did she hear me? Yes, I'm waiting for you to tell me what you want to talk about. We managed to convince her that even though people can have some pretty nasty thoughts, they can sometimes act on impulse and do the complete opposite of what they're thinking. And she asks us to give an example of this. See, this is where you just go straight for the kiss, my man. Like... Okay, maybe my idea would have turned out horribly, but at least Red has a better response and we end up becoming Sabrina's first friend. We even get her contact info, though not exactly her phone number. Well, that's definitely way more interesting than any of the other relationships we've had in this game so far. And that wraps up the 2nd week of Pokemon Academy life. Once again, I'm super excited to see what this game brings in the future, especially how these friendships continue to develop, and this whole story with Tia. Be sure to check out the developers on Twitter and the Pokemon Academy Life Discord if you're interested in keeping up with future updates for the game, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. I'm currently cooking up some more analytical type of Pokemon videos, but this last week I've been basically addicted to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, so let me know in the comments if you've been playing it as well. And subscribe if you haven't yet to stay tuned for all my future content.